There we go. And greetings. Welcome to the audit response. And we have here with us live is Audit Them. Audit Them, are you there?
Hello there. Hello there. 10:30 p.m.
Excellent, excellent. So we're here going to do a little audit review here of a response that Audit Them got from the town of Volo. So if anyone's in here, it'd be great if you could hit the like and let us know that you're here in the chat and that the notifications went out to YouTube land. And we're going to get started right away with this deep dive into a response for the audit from Volo.
Audio testing. Can you guys hear the audio? Please confirm by pressing 1 in the comment section.
Give me a second here, too. I'm going to double check. All right. We got a notification came out from Kitty. Excellent. And looks like we're on. How's the audio sound out there? Is audio sounding good?
Clear.
Okay, one other thing, I just want to get this thing going here on this end. And we should be good to go. And we're on like Tom. Okay, so let me pull up this document.
10:35.
I'm going to pull up this document that we got here from Volo here. Let me pull this up here. Let's see here. Are you still there? Audit Them. Check.
Here.
Yes, excellent. All right. So let me zoom in on this a little bit here too, so we can see what they're saying here. All right. So this came from Stephen Henley. He's one of the trustees here at the town of Volo. Is this who this email is coming from?
No, this is coming from a different employee, trustee.
Okay, this is
D
okay. This is coming from
at Volo.
right. All right. So the Hauser, I got you. Or Huser, is this how you say his name? So I think we have his name at the bottom here.
I
Let's look at
believe
that
so.
before we go any further and see who we're speaking with. So he said a very lengthy one here over 4 pages. So it's Dustin Huser, trustee from the village of Volo. So let's get right down to the meat of this here on it, them.
Right.
We have an introduction here, and I hope everyone can see this clear on the screen. Might be able to zoom in a little bit more here, just to make sure we are using up all the real estate.
What resolution are you using? 480 or 720?
No, we should be on 720 by 1280. All right, let's do this. So they start out here. Good morning, everyone. So this is addressed to all the other trustees within that town of Volo, right?
Hey, I just wanted to mention it's not so clear on the computer here, but go ahead, I'm listening.
How's it look out there? Can you guys read this? What's on the screen here? All right.
On my phone, it
Oh,
looks
on your phone.
legible,
Yeah. Okay.
but on
Good.
the computer, it's
All right. That's probably just your
yeah,
issue on there because it looks good on this end here. I'm looking on the phone too. It's sharp and clear. And yep, we're good to go. Let's continue. Shoot, that's even at 360. I'm on my cell. I can see it. Okay. So it seems like everything's good. Let's continue. So
perfect.
this was originally sent out. Before I highlight here, let's go back up to who this was sent to. This is sent basically to the whole town here, right? All the different trustees of the town. So that's who it's.
It looks
Yeah, he's sending this.
approximate number.
Yeah, this is basically sending to the rest of the trustees. It appears, and let's just take it from there and see what the content of this email that he has sent out to his fellow colleagues entails here. All right, so let's get down to the body here. Good morning, everyone. So he is directing this to the trustees. First, as always, please do not reply. That being said, the following are my thoughts and feelings on the journalistic First Amendment and FOIA process requests that I hope all of you saw, which I'm sure he knows they did, and that we have received a couple of emails on, and that the village staff has received many voicemails and emails about. So obviously he's letting them, reminding them or making it aware that he knows that they've already received feedback on this. And if you haven't, emphasis here at it, haven't seen it, I recommend taking a look. Here is the link. I will say that I am still pretty worked up about this, so forgive me ahead of time if my emotions come through. All right, hello, eyes on the audit, welcome. All right, so we're going through this
Hey
email
guys.
response here. Let's continue here.
Hey T, hello there.
Let me start by stating that I believe the first role of any level of government in the United States should be to protect the rights of all of its citizens within, not just village, county, or state. All right, so first of all, we get a man here that believes the first role of government should be to protect the rights. See, he doesn't say the government has rights or this, it protects the rights of all citizens within, not just the village, county, or state. I served in the military to defend those rights and continue to hold those ideals very high. All right, so what do you have to say about this audit then? Does this sound like a an authentic response here that we're getting from this gentleman?
It does seem very genuine, the overall email response.
It does to me too. And if anyone out there is watching, like to give some feedback in the chat, be definitely invited too, because we always wonder. I mean, it's known that Audit Them made these requests, and this came up through a blanket request of emails, and this was found in there. So this wasn't sent to him directly. This is a public record that anyone could request and read. All right, let's continue. One of the
It
rights
further
of
gets in depth.
Yeah, so we see this gentleman here. He served in the military to defend those rights that the United States protects of all its citizens. One of the rights of all citizens is to be able to have some level of transparency on all levels of government. I love this. The wording here is rather good for someone that seems heated and emotional because it's very accurate here. Is to have at least some level of
Well, that
transparency.
language is to be found in the Freedom of Information Act of Illinois. That's where you find that language with the specific words transparency on all levels of government.
Right,
It
right.
matches with what he's referencing on many points. Yep.
And of course, he mentions that there's some level of transparency because there are incidences when you do have to redact for personal reasons, just like when you make a request, your name is can also be held back. It's not transparent because it would infringe on personal information, right? And personal privacy. Okay, so it's saying one of the rights is to have some level of transparency on all levels of government. And when that fails, the government is not doing its job correctly and should absolutely be called out for it and taken to court for it. I think he's saying that kind of figuratively, to court. Abiding by the rules that have been. Let me continue here. All right. Abiding by the rules that have been designated seems to be a continuing failing goal in this country. But I had hoped out. I think he is supposed to be our. I hoped our village was better than that, even though we are in a state and country that currently is not. So he's, lamenting on the fact that, you know, uh, abiding by the rules seems to be a continually failing goal in this country. But he had hope that his village was better than that. We see what we get with hope, right? Audit them. It's better to have good faith in people that you can trust rather than hope on people that are maybe don't have the best intentions in their heart. So even though we are in a state of country
It
that
seems that he's really honoring.
indeed. All right, so he says, what I saw in this video almost brought me to tears, literally. Wow, that's powerful there. This is a guy, a
Do you
trusted.
hear a delay in my mic?
Uh,
Can you hear me without a delay or no?
keep talking.
Do you hear a delay?
No,
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 no, it sounds on. It's all on.
you're on.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue. Guys, please make sure you leave in the comment section where your current time zone. What's your current time zone? There's no delay. Confirmed by KDF.
Yep. All right.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue, T.
What I saw in this video almost brought me to tears, literally. I've never seen a more blatant disregard for somebody legally confronting our staff. I love this in a polite and non threatening manner. Now, let's just dissect this sentence here because this is one sentence. He says a lot of important things right here that it almost brought me to tears, literally. I have never seen a more blatant disregard for somebody legally confronting our staff in a polite and non threatening manner. This is powerful. Blatant disregard for
Yeah,
someone legally confronting in a polite
yeah,
and
yeah.
non threatening manner. Yes, it
That's
may
why I
be a.
told you for us to on the side, right, point for point, what this email entails.
Yes, it may be a bit off putting to have an unexpected person put a camera. Well, now in your face, I wouldn't quite get it because I don't think you put anything in their face. It didn't appear to be in the video we saw, but we'll let that slide.
Right.
But that is the risk you take being a government
That's what I
employee.
don't agree with. That's the only part I agree with because that's nowhere to be found in the actual encounter. As a matter of fact, I was at the counter with a camera in my hand, and the employee walked up to the counter, but that's nowhere near their face, even if they're standing in front of the counter and the customer standing on the other side. So that's the only point that I have to disagree with. Everything else seems to match the video and his perspective of the video and the uh tension that it's for the member of the public to be able to exercise his constitutional rights.
Absolutely. And, the thing here is that it's not accusing you of it, but he's just kind of giving it at an extreme end that even if he probably should be saying here, because he says, yes, it may be, but that's not really directly applying to you. That's a hypothetical. And indeed, that hypothetical, even if
Right,
you
right.
were holding it in their face, and it's a risk they take becoming a government employee, is what he's stating, that they have to be tolerant of even that. So the fact that he's being aware that they have to have that extra level of tolerance because they are they're there entrusted with the public's records. All right, let's continue here. Uh, the journalist never left public areas, which journalists might still be taking a bit liberty there. I don't know if you have to even classify as anything other than a man, but and in fact, never even attempted
Well, that's
to enter non-public areas. See, didn't even attempt to enter non-public areas. He clearly stated what he was doing and why. See, this is important here. Intentions. He clearly stated what he
yeah,
was
yeah.
doing and why. Presented his concerns and ultimately left. He did nothing wrong. We did. I am personally
We
embarrassed.
did.
Well, it's not a laugh. This is a sad, somber moment for this man who obviously dedicated
Yeah,
time
yeah.
serving in the
Well,
military.
well, it's sad and sickening. It's sad and sickening that this happens, and he acknowledged it, and he's calling it out, and they're just letting it slide like dust under the rug. The other employees are not even acknowledging their wrongdoing. So that's what's the sad part.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, we haven't even gotten there yet, have we, Them? Because I know I don't want to spoil anything here, but we're just getting started here. He's kind of prefacing
let's go ahead
things.
and nevertheless, let's go ahead and continue with the message here. It's
Yeah,
it's powerful, it's
yeah, because
meaningful,
we want to, I guess,
and
expound
it
on.
all aligns with FOIA, with the Freedom of Information Act, and the power that man has when he inquires and he, uses his constitutional form of government, which is through your local state code.
Right. They'll all provide for it one way or another, but it is nationally harmonized. All right, let's continue here. So,
He acknowledged that they did something wrong. He acknowledged that they did something wrong because of the instruction of the member of the public came and brought it to their attention.
right,
And
because you clearly stated your intentions, right, and ultimately left. You did nothing wrong. They did. And now he says he's personally, emphasis is his, embarrassed and disappointed by this interaction. Now, that's something, you have to be able to empathize with the man that, these are his colleagues, and the people you associate are the people you are identified by, and they're acting like this. Of course, he's embarrassed, and worse than that, disappointed by people that had the public trust and abused it in this manner. And that's why he says it's wrong, but should be able to be fixed quickly. So now he's thinking progressively here and thinking
no, you skipped
correctly.
the line. You skipped the line.
Oh, I'm sorry,
He said
I
it isn't
did.
about
Yeah, I'm
non-compliance.
sorry. Yeah, it isn't about the non-compliance I am most upset about. Is that is wrong, but we should be able, but should be. All right, let me read this again here. It isn't about the non-compliance I am most upset about. That is wrong, but should be able to be fixed quickly. So yeah, he's basically explaining that there is a fact that the non-compliance, but that's not the primary issue at hand. It is the actions of our staff. That's that he's most upset about, not the non-compliance, which is wrong and should be able to be fixed quickly, is what he's saying. Like just post the darn prominently displayed records on the wall. It would take about 5 minutes. But what he's most upset about is the actions of his staff. We had a FOIA officer
Right.
and a high level staffer abandon the front office personnel to go and hide. Now, I want us to just can we are people in the chat even hearing this? Because this to me is just
Right. As
beyond
they this
believable.
is definitely
High level
a
staffer.
freedom agent versus, yeah.
But just to try to picture this. If you didn't watch the video, and we're gonna have to put the link to the video here at some point. If you get a chance, you can throw it in the chat too. Audit them.
with his with his stance, with this trustee's stance and perspective, he should be a trendsetter of government employees, facilitating on how staffers should respond and how they should handle themselves in a constitutional form of government is what he's declaring. And he's acknowledging members of the public is healthy for them to go and check on these employees and audit them. And it further says that in the email. Uh, well, the part where he said it's not the non-compliance I am most upset about. However, he is also upset about that. And that's the root right there. Non-compliance, and the S show that employees provide when a member of the public comes and wants to help and create an ally with them. Instead, they abuse that. And he called all that out on many points. They went and hid to go and hide. Satan, when the sun comes out, Satan runs and hides. But I'm not saying that chapter or
well,
that
we'll,
script.
we'll continue on
Well, let's
because
go ahead and continue
it'll
here.
get to that. We'll get to more details about what he's up against. But the fact of the matter is this: is that he's not actually upset about the noncompliance, because you got to understand that too is that in the government there's plenty of noncompliance at very low levels continuously. I mean, if they're not stealing pens, they're using taxpayer money to put candy in a jar. So there's always these little wrongs that are happening, but as he said, they don't make them upset, but they should be able to be fixed quickly when they're detected or
Sure,
made aware
sure.
of. But what made him upset, this is what personally got him embarrassed and disappointed, not the non-compliance. What personally got him embarrassed and disappointed was the actions of his staff. Because with a high
Yes.
level staffer and the FOIA officer both abandoned the front office personnel to go and hide. That's their intention. It's not like they left for a meeting. They went to go and hide. If they want to say they were working on a
What
bid
he meant,
process,
what he
fine.
meant. Wait a minute. What he meant by go and hide is really they were standing with their back on the wall, eavesdropping. That's what was going on,
Right.
because the camera could not face that angle. The camera could not see that angle. They had their back on the wall, eavesdropping to what the cameraman was conveying. And this message shows and says it all. And this is definitely a meaningful, very meaningful conveyance towards freedom and towards honesty and the public trust, and why we promote employees to become higher ups, and why we replace employees that are of wrongdoing. So let's go ahead and continue between a government employee's perspective of his fellow government employees.
Okay, so he's most upset about the actions of his staff when he had a high level officer or a FOIA officer and a high level staffer abandon the front office personnel to go and hide. And as you said, it seems to you, since you were there, that they were just eavesdropping. If they want to say they were working on a bid process, fine, which they may have been falsifying, is what he's saying. If they want to, that's fine. They can hide behind their excuses, but the journalist was there after that ended.
Right,
Where were they? See, he got right down to the intention. If it was really that they had to work on their bid process, fine, but you waited, and they still wouldn't do it. It wouldn't take too much to say, "I'm sorry, we
right.
are wrong, but we will fix it and do better." Instead, we have an employee
Yeah.
that directly calls a deputy on his cell phone instead of following correct procedure, so
Wait
that
a
the
minute, you're cutting off too many lines. Go back, go to the part where it said, but the journalist was there after that ended.
we already did. We said they can't hide behind their excuses,
Right.
but you're there after they ended. Where
Oh,
were they? It wouldn't take
right.
much to
There you
say,
go.
yeah, no, I already got all that. Instead, we have an employee that directly calls a deputy on his cell phone instead of following correct procedure so that the calls can be logged and recorded should a journalist want to
Yeah.
request those records as well. Do you see this? Do you think the average citizen or even Volo resident has that ability? I doubt it. As many people have said in voice and emails,
Disgusting.
disgusting.
Yeah, people said that. And go ahead and
So
continue.
we need to break this down a bit here. It's not this stuff here that he's saying about the um, you know the journalists and stuff, but the fact that is we have an employee. Let's look at this allegation here that
Well,
directly.
he's speaking with reason, you know.
Well,
with
facts.
logic.
The facts are here.
Fact,
He's not
sure.
he's not speculating too much, or if at all. He's not doing anything beyond what is presented here as factual that can be corroborated and documented. Instead, we have an employee. But here's another thing: is that also not just that, but the negative stuff here that directly calls a deputy on a cell phone instead of following correct procedures so that the calls can be logged and recorded should a journalist want to request those records as well. So they're evading. It seems to me that they're evading procedure, right? And as
Yep.
to avoid finding the intentions, which the intention means why are they doing this? Is there something they're hiding? Is there something it could be criminal or who knows what's going on, right? We wouldn't know
Yeah.
because they're hiding it. But that's the purpose of FOIA is for the transparency. Now, do you think the average
Hmm.
citizen or even full resident has that ability just to call, the cops on your own and not have to worry about going through proper procedure or going through a dispatch? It seems on a cell phone, or is he talking to? It seems calls the deputy and bypassed dispatch. It seems so that in and of itself is violates a lot of different policies, I would assume. But I don't want to speculate too far, so I think we should just proceed here. So anyway, after being mad at work most of the day, oh boy, I decided to swing by the hall to speak with Mike and see what was planned to be done. Post the info, remedial training, anything. I found out. Here we go, guys. Are you ready for this? He was downstairs, and I found him speaking with most staff and even a fellow trustee. These are all the people, the defalcators that are out
Yeah.
there disparaging Audit them. I was still hoping they were discussing corrective measures, which is supposed
Right.
to be the result of the audit. But
Yeah.
no, they were standing around, laughing and joking about it as if it didn't matter. Guys, is there anyone even here watching this and listening? Because this should enrage everybody here. Here is one of these elected officials here hoping that these people, one fellow trustee too, one of his colleagues,
Do the right thing. Do the
all
right
these people
thing.
that he pays every week, they're picking up their paycheck. And he's expected to
Every
be doing
single
their
one.
job, discussing corrective measures, figuring what's being done, remedial training, post the info, anything. No, they were standing around, laughing and joking about it as if it didn't matter. I know Mike's emailed to
Yeah.
me.
Hey, can you hear me?
We were out for a second. Hey, we're back. We're back, guys. We're back. We just
We're
went out.
back on duty.
We're back on duty here. All right.
All right.
They were
Go
standing.
back a sentence.
Okay, they were standing around, laughing and joking about it as if it didn't matter. See, now he was hoping. Here's a small buffer. Yeah, he was hoping they were discussing corrective measures like remedial training, post the info, anything. But no, they're standing around, laughing and joking about it as if it didn't matter. I know Mike's email to me had already made it clear that he held no regard for the Audit Them journalist. But then hearing him state that he was, quote, only a troll, unquote, and had little to no knowledge about the law got my blood boiling, as it's doing for
Yeah.
me right about now, thinking about imagining a back room. If anything's a trolls are these defalcating public officials and employees taking
Trolling,
tax
laughing,
dollars to
joking about
laugh
joking.
to
They're laughing about the law that's superior to everything that they do, which is the Freedom of Information Act, because it's up to the people to investigate their entire career. They're wrong for office, they could be replaced. They're laughing, and they might be laughing and believe that the law is a troll or the law is misinterpreted, but it's clearly not. It's very simple, and this employee recognizes it. That's a difference between right and wrong. There's an employee that writes up 5 pages of a proof of fact versus jokers laughing in the background that claim they're administrators of tens, 20,000 of people, 30,000 people in that town, 100,000, whatever it is. However, their entire career is subject to what they believe is a joke, which is the Freedom of Information Act. They might be laughing at the cameraman himself. They might be laughing at me. They might be laughing at whatever they might be laughing at. But at the end, the righteous is showing what he's talking about. And here it is in the email. So go ahead and let's go ahead and continue here, T. So he said, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Now he's saying that. So this guy Mike has already told me he made it clear he had no regard for the Audit Them journalist, but then hearing him state that he was only so the emails had already made it clear he had no regard for Audit Them, so he's biased. But then now hearing him state that he was quote
Yeah.
only a troll unquote and had little to no knowledge about the law got my blood boiling. As for being a troll, I watch a lot of these types of videos. There are way more confrontational ones that are still within their legal rights to be as aggressive as they are. But now, with this failure in actions of our staff, they may decide to visit Volo. Watch out, here comes Furry Potato and Casey Camera Boy and the rest of them. Anyways, as I was saying, Mike, staff, and my fellow trustee were simply standing around laughing about it and downplaying it. Now, let's just kind of bring us into picture here. You know, these are not necessarily all employees. Some of these are the officials, the public officials, right? These trustees.
Yeah.
The name trustee implies already that they have a fiduciary duty for the people. Does this sound like they're
Yeah.
being faithful stewards of the public trust?
Well, here's what Section 4 brought to a creation. Because the failure of Section 4 was not prominently displayed, reminding the people of their duty to check the balances.
Well,
Allied entire beginning of an entire career investigation.
yeah, I think they don't like.
Now it's only up to the people to come together and investigate the entire town because of that. And we'll go ahead and promote this man right here to become the
Well,
mayor of
I'm
this
not going to
town.
even say any of that stuff here, but what I think this is a case study here. I wouldn't encourage anyone to do any actions other than what they plan
Yeah,
to do
well,
on
this is
their own
not legal
accord.
advice, nor
Yeah,
this is
but
legal
what I
advice.
was just
Do
saying,
reading at home.
yeah, don't do this at home. But what I was just saying here is that this is a case study for why we audit, right? And this is the kind of response that once you're doing your audits in this honorable fashion, as Audit Them does, with clear intentions, as he said there, he came in clearly with intentions of his business, knowing what and why he was there. Not just fishing for
Yeah,
issues or trying to get an interaction, but actually had busyness to do there. Now,
yeah,
that once that's established, now the people acting in bad faith, which the government officials are supposed to work in good faith whenever they work with the public. First, in good faith. Second,
of
if you
course.
if there's suspicion, then you could take a second course. But the first course is always good faith. Here, we have these people acting not only in bad faith but biased from the start, claiming they already had low regard, and then acting in this way of just blatant contempt, of the people that are. Let's face it. I know why they don't like to prominently display that block diagram because it shows the taxpayer bosses on top of them, where the money flows.
Yeah,
And they don't like to be reminded, and they certainly don't like the people to be reminded that ultimately the taxpayers are their bosses because that's how they get paid. Anyhow, that being said, let's continue here. Anyway, as I was saying, Mike, staff, and my fellow trustee were simply standing around, laughing about it and downplaying it. That is indicative to me that no plans are being made to fix this. And after standing around for a bit, saying only a couple words in defense of journalism, I left without speaking to anyone. Could you just imagine? I mean,
hey, slow down. That means he doesn't want any part to do with in case they are uh, found to be doing wrongdoing in the near future. He has no part of that whatsoever of those bad actors. But go ahead and continue.
Exactly. See, this is indicative to me that no plans are being made to fix this.
Any
Okay?
conspiracy, hey, listen, any 1983s, he doesn't want to have
So
nothing to do with any
he's,
conspiracy. Yeah,
yeah, this, and after standing around for a bit, saying only a couple words in defense of journalism. Wow, this guy's great. I left without speaking to anyone, more mad than when I arrived. I hope that is not true, but I imagine it is. I have for years heard how badly staff treats people, including from my wife. Oh, shit. But I have always trusted Mike's stance of defending them, and I believed him when he said it was essentially bad actors on the residents' part. Who is this Mike guy? After seeing this, I have lost all trust in our village administrator, Mike K. That's who he is. The village administrator is Mike K. And will now automatically assume it is the residents that are correct and not him. Oh shit. He has a high burden of
yeah,
proof now. He's lost his trust. See, this is it. When you lose your integrity,
yeah.
it ain't easy to get
Right,
back.
right. When you lose that integrity. So now they're going to have council meetings every single week with disdain towards or
Impending cloud of
disdain.
doom over Mike May now, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Well, he lost trust. That's like, that's the top stuff, man. If you lose trust, it's done and over with. And imagine that a conflict of interest between two of our government employees within the field of trust. So who are we going to keep on as administrating the town? Are we going to keep the one that's within the trust, or the one that gave up on the laws and executing the laws and gave up on the trust? The What's the word you call it? Defalcator.
Well, yeah, well, they're yeah. That's one element of what's
So
going on here. If you want to, I would assume it seems that way. Uh,
so let's go ahead and carry on.
yeah,
He later puts the statute, but yeah.
yeah. I honestly should have been doing that the entire time, but I have gotten complacent, as I did with checking our standards and policy. See, now he really just assumed, and he said he got complacent, assuming that these guys were all just doing their job. As I did checking our standards and policies. As I can no longer trust the staff to do so, I will personally be ensuring that that does not happen again, whether I hold office or not. And as a military veteran speaking to us here, and this is the type of people, it's you thank them for the service they're doing now, because he's truly fighting for freedom in my eyes. Now, on to the actual statutes that we have failed. Whether the journalist knew law or not, the two FOIA sections he continually mentioned were correct. For reference, here's a full link, and I will post below sections 3.5 and 4, which are the specific ones he was referencing. So, Audit, then we're kind of familiar with this. So I just want to repeat what this is, and you go over this quite, as he
Yeah.
says, repetitiously within your
Pretty
audits.
straightforward to me.
Yep. And that is
It's
putting
it's right
in
right to it. Yeah.
minimal effort. No items in here are difficult to figure out. We just straight don't do them. Our FOIA officer failed, and our administrator failed to make sure our staff was doing what they needed to do. I understand
Yeah.
mistakes happen, but instead, oh
Sure.
gosh, I love this. But instead of running away, just politely engage, determine what is wanted, and apologize for not
Yeah.
being up to standard. then
They don't even have to apologize. I don't even want them to
no,
apologize.
but
I would
they
just say,
they should,
hey,
because listen,
I would agree. I would agree with the part where it says determine. That's the key word. Determine what is wanted, and instead of just have that, uh, that flow about them that they just don't care, where it's part of their job to determine what is needed.
well, he's giving them
And
the process.
yeah,
He says, I understand mistakes happen. Okay, so he's saying, look, a mistake happened, but instead of running away, right? Because that's what they did. Whatever happened, they made a mistake, and when they made the mistake, they ran and hid, is what he said. But he's saying a
yeah,
corrective action for them is, instead of running away, just politely engage. You determine what is wanted. You do it by question. Well, sir, what is it exactly, that, we're not doing right, or you don't understand, or, clarify it. Meeting of minds is what he's
clarify.
saying here.
Yeah,
Determine what is wanted. That's where you come to that meeting of minds. At that point, they know
yeah.
they did the mistake. Apologize for not being up
But the
to the
thing is,
standard.
why is it that all these municipalities, they can't comprehend that, and that's
Well,
part of their job description,
it's leadership, as you see here, is that, the rest of them aren't like this man is the only one standing up for rights and freedom here.
right?
So it says, once here's his process. This is a standard thing that they should know. When mistakes happens, instead of running away, just one, politely engage. Two, determine what is wanted. And three, apologize for not being up to standard. Four, then fix it. Why won't they fix it? No,
Yeah,
they're in there laughing about it, saying it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people
sure.
have been claiming the journalist is only trying to engage, get a rise out of, or show how wrong everyone is. And on occasion, that may be true. But for comparison, okay, so their impressions may or may not be true, but that's no
He
proof.
said a lot of people have been claiming that the journalist is
Right,
trying to.
right.
Yeah,
And on occasion, that may be true, what they're claiming. It
right.
may be true. On
Sure.
occasion, it may be, right? We can't say for
Yeah,
sure. It may be. But
right.
for comparison, both on how to treat a fellow human and also how to meet standards correctly, here is a video from the same journalist with a
From the
report.
same. Look how he put caps.
Yeah,
The same.
with emphasis from him.
Yeah,
Same journalist with a report from McHenry. This
sure.
video
Which is
did.
their neighbor. Which is their neighbor.
This is the one where you get
Yeah,
all
well, go ahead.
excited about the FOIA officer that actually had all of them
Yeah,
prominently displayed, like it was like you found a
yeah,
unicorn. Uh,
yeah. Like Santa Claus came early. He's the FOIA officer.
yeah, yeah. So this now here's what I love. He says here. I mean, I should say I love this, but this really takes the heart of what it did. The impact emotionally here is it did bring me to tears, because I was so happy to see
Yeah,
there are good villages out there, even nearby. I
yeah.
do hope.
Like I said, listen, the law is written beautiful because it's a constitutional form of law. However, it's some public employees that abuse and misuse their authority in the law. So that's these are checks and balances here. This man is on the right page, and he deserves to be thanked for, and look through the out services he provided in his career.
Well,
However,
let's continue here, because what he's saying here is that, before we lose sight of this, he says, here is a video from the same journalist with a report from McHenry. This video did bring me to tears, because I was so happy to see that there are good villages out there, even nearby. I do
yeah,
hope you take the 13 minutes to see what a real village acts like and how they present themselves. I have never
there's the key
seen,
word.
yeah, I've never seen an auditor so happy for the emphasis again here is right reasons. That he
Yeah,
may get more views from our disaster, but don't tell me he wasn't genuinely happy to have an engagement like this.
hmm,
Now, do you see the power of having a true audit where it's unbiased and factual and document based? That, yeah, you may
yeah,
get more views from our disaster. I like to call it disaster. But don't tell me he wasn't genuinely happy, which we know you were, Audit Them, to have an engagement like this over at McHenry. You know this. This was a great one, and yeah, it was fun to watch. I think everyone
It's
enjoyed that.
available.
Yeah, and but of course, like he said, it seems like the drama always gets more views, but that doesn't seem that that's the reason because you were happy for the
Well,
right
here's my
reasons
intention.
for McHenry.
I love seeing compliance and I love seeing non-compliance. But I prefer, compliance and everybody to have a smile on their face, right? I don't want people to be upset and have their day to be believed messed up because they're in the wrong. The government employees in the wrong. The section 4 that we're discussing, this proves to all agencies, if only all agencies respond like McHenry did, then there would be no video past 7 minutes. If they responded like Hanover Park Township, there would be no videos past 7 minutes. It'll be the employee guiding the member of the public to these records and the cameraman telling them thank you so much. And they're both smiling and they say, have a good day. That's the same response that all 5,000 agencies in the state of Illinois have to respond with. However, like I said, I love also seeing combative and non-compliant employees because it brings awareness to the people of who we have in office. And we're discussing these things fully and freely. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So back to where we were on here. He was kind of getting alluding to the fact that you're doing these things for the right reasons. That you're so happy to see McHenry. Let me bring them on the screen here. Their name, yeah, from McHenry. They're a neighboring village. This video did bring me to tears because he's happy to see there are good villages out there that even nearby. I do hope you take the 13 minutes to see what a real village acts like and how they present
Mm-hmm.
themselves. I have never seen an auditor so happy for the right reasons. He may get more views from our
Yeah.
disaster, but don't tell me he wasn't genuinely happy to have an engagement like this. Oh, and for all of you who say, don't give him your time or energy by watching his videos, or don't even click to give him views, I have subscribed to him and will continue to watch his videos repeatedly. Let's all subscribe to Audit Them if you're not already. That's here.
No, those are, that's a great man. And his perspective of what integrity and, a government with integrity is really showing his perspective. And this is what type of administrative staff we need.
Absolutely. Well,
Housing the housed. Yep, go ahead.
yeah. This is kind of what he's alluding to here is the fact that there's a culture there that are saying don't even watch his videos, don't even click to give him the views. It's really not even as much that is that they don't want to be educated to see themselves in the way they really look to others. See, it says here he is doing the people the people emphasize his a service by pointing out government failings. If
Yeah.
you think you, I, we, love this, Volo or any other government entity is above that, then I don't want you in my government.
Wow. Yep. He sums it up.
Wow. All you're doing is pointing out government failings. If you
Like I said, he made he made about 10 points and we're going to break that down at a later time, but
well,
let's
I,
continue here. That's a
this is
great
rather.
point.
I think we've broken it down rather well here. Look,
Yeah.
he says here, he's doing the people, emphasis his, a service by pointing out government failings. If you think you, I, we, Volo, or any other government entity is above that, then I don't want you in my government. So if they can't,
Quoted Dustin, trustee of Volo.
so now if he can't, he's basically saying that if you can't take the people pointing out failings of the government, he doesn't want you in their government. I like this attitude. I hope we
Yeah.
make this right, but my trust with all of our staff is broken.
Yes.
This
That's
is
big.
until this is fixed, and I mean both the policy guidelines and the way we handle interactions. I will have no engagement with them beyond what is necessary.
Wow. Beyond what is necessary. So okay, only work doing, focus on work doing. We're not gonna sit here and lollygag and talk behind people's back and not comply. Yeah, he doesn't want any part of that, man. He wants to fulfill his duty to the best of his ability. Dustin, go ahead, T.
So Dustin Huser, I hope I'm getting his name right, but he's a trustee for the Village of Volo. What I just want to say here is that this man is clearly outvoted, outnumbered. There, he's expressing eloquently and very well. He's articulating the people's rights as they're to be protected by the people that are trusted with their government. He's stating this over and over again. He's coming with expectations that his fellow colleagues and the employees that he pays to work and staff that they would be working to further those goals. Instead, he finds them being distrustful, uh, uh, malevolent, with intentions to interfere with the public trust,
Yeah,
to actually interfere with his ability to conduct city or village business. It seems I could go on and on about why someone like this, but what I'd say this is a symptom of a bigger problem that we see
it
replicated
is.
throughout cities, townships, villages in the United States of America, and that is the fact that the good ones are outnumbered by the bad ones, and the people aren't there to support the good ones. So I would say that if there's any takeaway from this for everyone that's here, is to know that if there are any good representatives in your town, villages, municipalities, counties, states, etc., that you always should be